Hello Leo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Leo May 2022 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. That is the interface for all of the free goodies I make for you each month, including written horoscopes and lots of other blogs that are astrology kissed. If you forget that website address by the time the video ends, if you're a YouTube viewer, you can click on the little more button that has more in an arrow in the bottom right of the video screen, and that will reveal the notes that has the links. Also, if you are listening through my syndicated podcast, Astro Kisses, you can look at the notes underneath the podcast to find the links. I am celebrating 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I'm thanking you while I am celebrating all of the accomplishment, all of the hard work, and all of the many people that I know that I've helped because you've told me so, and I'm so grateful to be in a position to be able to do that, and grateful that my work has been so well received and that it really helps you, because that's what I'm doing it for. So thank you for giving me a place and a reason to show up with what I love. So what's going on in May? First of all, let us put it out right here that this is for you if Leo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, but it's also for you if you have any other Leo placement that you watch for. I know I have a lot of astrology zealots out there that are watching and following my work, and you like to go in deep. That's great, because we're going to go in deep, and anything we talk about is for you if you have a Leo placement. If you're a late degree Leo placement, like a later late degree Leo placement, so we'll say like August 15th through the rest of the sign, or like 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, I also recommend that you listen to my Virgo reports or watch the Virgo reports, because both the Leo and Virgo will be relevant for you and have pieces for you late degree people. Okay, so let me just give you the summary rundown of what we've got going on this month. Another very big month. We've got almost double the sweet aspects compared to the salty. We had that happen last month, and we sure love it when that happens, right? It's not often that happens, and we've had a little string of that, so we'll definitely take it. That means that the planets are speaking a language that gets along well with the others, and that we've got minimal bumps as far as the planetary connections that are occurring in the sky. And this is very helpful because this is a time of great intensity. We are in the midst of eclipse season. We've got the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle that is in full bore here, and we will talk about where you're likely to experience those big, possibly dramatic, life-changing events. And I'll give you other resources to even deepen your knowledge of what the potentials will be. We have Mercury going in retrograde, so we are turning back the tides going in. We've had this very big rush out of energy of the tides going out in March and April, and as I've told you, if you've been watching for these months, do everything you can. It's going to be crazy busy. You'll be overwhelmed. There'll be lots to do, but the more you make the most of it, the gladder you will be, because now the time is to dial it back and roll everything back in and take care of things that are just kind of right in front of you, and leave room for last minute magic. This March and April is a time to really schedule things, get things done, more likelihood that you'll be able to follow through with appointments and things that you do at this time. May and the first half of June is a little bit more dicey as far as plans go. You'll notice, probably it's happening already, that things that seem set there, you're already erasing things in your planner, and that will continue to be so. You're going to do a lot of erasing in your planner for that period of time, and the more you can let people know that when you're making an agreement, to put it in pencil, because there's a very good chance that a grand majority of the things you plan in that time will either not happen, will be changed in some way, or will be called into question and may or may not work out after that being called into question. So, making contracts, agreements, you can do it, but just know that it might be shorter term than you expect. You might not have all the information that you need, and it's likely to have a shorter shelf life than you expect it to. Okay, so those are things to know. If you have big negotiations, big commitments, big decisions to make, the energies in March and April are better than May and the first half of June. And if that time has passed already, or you can't make it happen in that time, the second half of June, all of July, and until around August 19th is our last big open window for the pushes out, the launches, anything that requires the tides to go out. Just always use that visualization and just imagine what you're about to do. Is the thing you're about to do something that you would want the tide to carry it out to a faraway place? far and wide and long. If it is, you might want to save those for when the planets, the personal planets, are all direct, which are those windows that I just gave you, June 19th through August 21st or so, or the March and April timeframe, okay? If it's something that you can throw it out and it's fun to come back, like you don't mind things boomeranging and that's part of the fun and it's experimental and it's low stakes, then by all means, play, have fun, try some things out. If it doesn't matter what happens with it, then it doesn't matter. But if you're putting $20,000 into starting a business, if you're, doing something brand new for the first time that has high stakes and really needs to work out and have longevity, May and the first half of June might not be your best time for that, okay? So April 21st through June 18th is the whole retrograde season. May 10th through June 3rd is the official retrograde. We're retrograding Mercury from Gemini back to the last few degrees of Taurus. And for Leo placements, this is going to cast doubt into your friendship circles. This is going to cast doubt into your work, career, your relationships with father or father figures, gender not relevant. And that's where a lot of the questioning is going to be. There's also going to be questioning as far as your communication style. It's also going to be questioning about your money and your finances. Asking a lot of questions. Is what you're doing sustainable? Are you doing what you want to do? Is this going to work for the long run? What changes can you make? What do you really want so that you can try to make them? Are the people that are surrounding you going to help you with your goals, or are they working against you? Are the people around you holding you in an old imprint and now you find yourself changing and you don't want to be known by those certain parameters within those certain parameters anymore? These are the types of questions that are going to come up for Leo. And we've had some long-term energy around those type of questions, but you are going to have it very front and center in the short term. Now, some positive things that can happen from the retrograde there are friendships or acquaintances coming back from the past in a meaningful or fulfilling way. Someone, like a blast of the past that feels good to connect with them, or they can help you in some way. If you need some kind of help or need a solution or need something, your odds are greater that you're going to find what you need through a new resource, through an old resource than a new one. Although some new people can sprinkle in. There is this very, very strong focus on inward and backward energy. And like I mentioned before, it's a time when you want to schedule light, because the odds that someone might say, hey, you want to do this? Or, hey, here's an opportunity to make some money. Or, hey, just something, are very high in May and the first half of June. And if you have yourself super scheduled, you're going to be stressed because you're having to reschedule things. You're going to be stressed because people you scheduled with might not be showing up. And you're going to be stressed because things that you want to do, you might not be able to do because you have plans that might wind up not working out anyway. Okay, so schedule light, know things are going to change, know that there's going to be confusion. It'll take about 6 weeks for this to cycle out, and then the clarity will come again. My best recommendation is to make your plans in March and April for the middle of June, July, and through August 21st, kind of avoiding, that May-June timeframe. Of course, we have to live, we have to do things, but you'll see the more you follow this, that appointments made and plans made during that time are going to likely be erased a lot. Okay, so now let's move on and talk about, let's see what we want to talk about. Okay, let's talk about the Pisces energies. Okay, so we've got Pisces still lighting up your deep relationship house. This is the Scorpio house. This is one of 2 layers of Scorpio affecting you at this time. The other being the lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Scorpio on May 16th. The eclipse season lasts way longer than May 16th. It's really getting supercharged in the middle of March, and it will flow well into June, but very, very strong here in May. So what kinds of changes might you see, or things coming up might you see from this Scorpio focus? Well, changes to your shared finances. Maybe your spouse or partner has something notable happen with their finances, something with your family or their family, paying off of debt, having to deal with, credit cards or trying to improve your credit score, money coming out of the blue. Some kind of unresolved psychological issue as it relates to intimacy could be coming up. Anything like that. Now, we are phasing out of this, and you have had a long period of time of several months or more where your relationships are like, wow, it's really just one thing after another. And then there's even a longer period of time that this is happening because Saturn is still in your relationship sector. So you still have a lot of long-term work and fine-tuning and discernment and clearing up that's going on. But this is a good time to ask raw questions of yourself, where if you answer the questions honestly, like how could you be contributing to a negative pattern in your relationship that you might want to blame someone else for? What is standing between you and your psychological wellness? You know, are there modalities, metaphysical or psychological, that can be helpful to you? Is there a mystery that needs to be solved in order for you to find your peace again? Whether it's a medical mystery or whether it's something about your ancestry or something that's been kind of nagging at you that has to be dealt with, that may also come up. Now, something that actually, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we go into the things I'm so excited about, which are the Aries placements, because that has been something that we've been waiting for Leo placements. Let's just talk about a little more stuff that is just sort of a little more emotional, maybe a little bit more heavy, a little bit more cloudy or bogged down or confusing. There is pressure brewing in your home, family, housing, and real estate sector. And the pressure is brewing and continuing to unfold, and the eclipse is going to bring it out in the open. This is a lunar eclipse. It means that there's likely going to be an ending in something with home, family, real estate. Now, with every ending, that also means a beginning, right? If you sell a house, you probably buy a new one. If you move, you're going to go into another house. If, you know, a roommate moves out, you're probably going to have one move in. So with the ending is also coming a beginning, but it looks like there is a big change that's been brewing in your home or real estate sector. And you may see that news come in now. It could be dramatic, it could be stressful, and it is likely to have, you know, kind of a jolt for you because this is going to be a square. Now, everyone in the Leo spectrum is likely to have some challenges or things to address in their home, family, real estate sector or housing. But the pressure doesn't have to be bad. The pressure could be, hey, you're buying a house and you have to do all of the paperwork for the loan and you have to move, and you know the transition of moving is hard, but yay, it's super positive because you're trying, that's what you wanted to do, right? So there's nothing to say that this 90-degree angle that's occurring with this eclipse has to mean that it's terrible. But what it does mean is that it's a pressure point. It is building and it is going to come to a head. So that could be a very good thing if that's something you're waiting for. Now, also remember that eclipses tend to bring fate, karma, dharma into the picture. Old patterns, old things, very old, sometimes ancestral, you know, can come up and be cleared. Sometimes karma that you've been carrying your whole life can be cleared in an instant, with a manifestation from an eclipse. So it's very ripe for that. And along with it, with that shedding of those layers, can come more clarity and buoyancy on your dharmic path, which is your path of highest expression. So there's definitely a lot of that going on here as it relates to your home and housing and your work and career, or your place out in the world. If you don't need to make money and you're retired, your place out in the world, what you're bringing to the world, what you're showing up with, all of those things. Plus the energy of mother, father, could be yourself as a mother or father in a role. It could be your, trying to find balance between home and work and different changes occurring there that are, just bringing it into the forefront. So I'm going to give you a few resources to check out to deepen your understanding of how this eclipse may hit. Also know that in my April reports, I talk about the Taurus eclipse cycle. The Taurus eclipse is on April 30th, so we're definitely still feeling that here in May and feeling it before then. So I talk about where that energy, the layers of that will hit in the April reports, and we're not going to cover that here. But what we are going to cover is search for Annie Botticelli Eclipses in Scorpio in a YouTube search to find my Eclipses in Scorpio video, where you can see all of the many ways I've seen Scorpio eclipses manifest. Also, all Leo placements, look for eclipses in Cancer or eclipses in the 4th house. Annie Botticelli in the YouTube search. You can also find these on my Annie Botticelli YouTube homepage under the eclipse playlist, okay? Because Cancer is the house from the whole house perspective that all Leos are going to be experiencing this eclipse. That's the home, family, real estate piece. I also go into more details about how I've seen that manifest. Now, if you're an August born or 11 degrees to the rest of the sign, then I also suggest you watch look for any Botticelli eclipses in Gemini or eclipses in the third house, because from the Placidus perspective, with every day you march into the Leo birth chart spectrum, so the later you are in the spectrum, the more likely you're going to have manifestations in this third house. Okay, this has to do with transportation, mobility. There are some very key important things to know here as far as your protection and safety as you're driving and walking, your physical mobility. And I have some very detailed suggestions to help you offset or prevent possible problems. Okay, so those are 3 videos that you can watch to help you. Now let's get into the yay that we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for the personal planets to get into Aries, and Venus is going to do it, Mars is going to do it, and most exciting of all, Jupiter is going to do it. With every planet that moves through Aries, you're going to get kisses from those planets. Kisses from Venus mean love, beauty, money, self-esteem, relationship boosts. Kisses from Mars means oomph, ambition, focus, productivity, and zest, and sometimes physical healing and robustness and, sense of self and identity, clarification, and those types of things. So all of that is a huge potential. Kisses from Jupiter mean expansion and growth and benevolence and luck and spiritual advancement and protection and just, everything that you've been wanting to the nth degree, because all of these are 120-degree angles, which are the most favorable in all of astrology, and Jupiter is going to be making these kisses for a year. Okay, so this is very, very, very exciting. Jupiter moving through Pisces has not been the best friend of fire signs, and I'm a fire sign as well, so I have been feeling this. I'm like, okay, always looking at the positive, always trying to see the benefits, and there are some, well, a lot, really, but I'm like, okay, but still ready for it to move on into the fire sign, okay? And you are going to be very excited about that too, because you'll have a year worth of expansion, of figuring out yourself, your path, your relationship with your physical body, your creativity, everything can soar. And one of the big things that can soar are the things in your 9th house. So this is what we're going to drill down into, but I have a special segment on that, so we're going to get there because that's where Jupiter is going to have its transit. But first I want to talk about the periods of time, okay? So from May of 2022 through May of 2023 essentially is when Jupiter will be in Aries. It will dip back at the end of the year, after the end of October, into Pisces just a couple of degrees, but it will never wander far enough from Aries that it will lose its influence there. Okay, so we've got those kisses pretty contiguously for that time. We also have a couple of other aspects with Jupiter to note. We still have the effects of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. If you haven't watched my video on that, you definitely want to do that. It's a very in-depth video about this very potentially positive transit. It is a conjunction, so it can be neutral, meaning it can go either way, but there are some profound positive effects for humanity and for you individually that I go into in the video. So just search for any Botticelli Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. And that's in effect from March through May. So we're still getting goodies from that. Also, we've got a new goodie, which is Jupiter sextile Pluto. So you can search for Annie, Jupiter sextile Pluto. You can also find these videos in the astrology playlist on my homepage on YouTube. And this is most strong May 1st through 5th. We feel it from April through June, but it's really just helping us to transform in positive ways and buoy any of the other Saturn-Uranus square that's been an undercurrent and creating a lot of mischief in the world. More than mischief, actually huge, really, big problems. So this is sort of a guiding light that can be supportive. So you can check that out. All right, so now let's look at how Jupiter in Aries can affect you through the 9th house and the types of things you're likely to see soar in your life over the next year. Okay, so when we've got Jupiter moving through the 9th house or Sagittarius, it's a doubling up of all of this energy, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So when it's moving through the 9th house or the sign of Sagittarius, everything is just completely amplified, okay? So the chance to have general solutions. international connections, immigration, that trip to a different country that you've wanted, that language that you've been trying to learn, that writing or publishing project that you've been trying to get going, your sense of adventure, long distance travel, which could be in your country. If you have a big country, like if you're going from Florida to Alaska, that's definitely a Sagittarius type of trip. You're looking for your perfect education program or expanding your horizons on any level. Getting to see from the top of the mountain a viewpoint or a solution, and looking at the bigger picture and having things click, and a renewed sense of peace and optimism that comes from that perspective. Public speaking, anything with your church or spiritual beliefs are all wanting to be enhanced. There's a very good chance that perspectives will be broadened and that your experiences, you could have a life-changing experience. You could get your fingers in a lot of pudding pies. Jupiter energy in Sag like to diversify. Luck and benevolence and protection in whatever arenas you're trying to get into are also more likely. We talked about excess, and so the chance of burning yourself out is always increased in the area where Jupiter is moving through. But if you've got it moving through the sign that it also rules, you really have to watch out for that, because the odds are that you'll be so excited about everything that, it'll be hard to manage and keep balance. But it is very important to try to keep balance. You'll notice the topic of freedom come up from the philosophical standpoint and also from a lot of other standpoints. Maybe there's an education program that you wanted to do, but it's going to box you in for a few years. Trying to figure out if that's what going to really make you reach your goals. Maybe it's worth it for you. Maybe it isn't. Anything having to do with planting seeds. If some of these things are not manifesting now, you keep working at them, and sometime over the next 12 years, it's very likely that these things will manifest. Don't be afraid to go big. This is the time when you have the big gas giant that has all of that energy moving through the house it rules. It's definitely a time to really, really go big. And know that if there are any blocks to what you're trying to do, they could come up in a big way. But you can also come to the solutions, and you might change your mind about something which can change your life. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!